Hi guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your daily horoscope and energy reading for August 10th, which is Monday. And I'm reading this a little bit early just because we have Jupiter moving into Virgo, and I don't want to make a whole entire video about it because it's just too many videos. So I thought I would give you guys a little bit of preparation for that in advance so that you guys would be able to prepare for that new energy shift. Today has a very dualistic flavor to it. And when energy is dualistic, it is very difficult for me to tap into one primary energy in a day. So you get kind of two readings in one day when the energies are highly dualistic. And that is just because energy may resonate differently for two categories of people in this day. So for all of us, I think the most beautiful energy that I can pick out on this page is the fact that we have Uranus in Aries trining our sun and trining Venus, the Venus retrograde in Leo. And so to me, again, we're talking about a day that I feel is very empowering. Our sun is the way that we identify ourselves. It's our identity. And it's sitting in Leo. So the sun rules Leo. So this is a very bright burning energy in this week. This energy is like going from winter to summer. In many of you. So many of you are having this. I'm not saying that it's not a very self-indulgent. This is a very self-indulgent energy. This is why I say that this can go two ways, and it could either be very, very good or very, very bad. I prefer to look at energy like this as empowering energy, but I want to say that this can be people that are just hiding, staying away, not dealing with anything, and so they are doing things that are very self-indulgent to gratify themselves on a very superficial level and not on a deep level. So it can be a very self-indulgent energy. And I want to warn you straight out of the gate that that's why I say this is a very dualistic day, and there's a lot of dualistic energy in today. So I want to prepare you for that. So today is full of opportunity. It's full of catapulting your day. Okay, look. The way that I look at this energy is it's like a slingshot energy. It's very unexpected. It's very powerful. It's very life altering. There's so much power today in overcoming insurmountable odds. It's a very opportunistic day. So you won't be able to predict what today means for you on any level. I don't think anybody can. It doesn't matter which energy you get caught in this day. It's definitely full of the power to persevere in that energy, and however that's defined for you. The moon is going to be in Cancer today. And when the moon goes into Cancer, first of all, that's a home-based energy too. So I want to say that when an energy is home, I want to say that energy is in the higher vibration of that energy source instead of in the lower vibration. So when Venus was in Cancer, it was a very debilitated energy for it. And so we found that we fell into a lot of the lower vibrations of that particular transit. But when it's in its home-based environment, we get all of the positives. So I'm going to give you a quick little rundown. I want you guys to understand what I'm trying to say because I don't think I'm communicating it effectively. So like say if you have, okay, let's talk about Uranus, because Uranus has two definite ways it can go. definitely is. Like, way two different ways it can go. It is so extreme. It's an extreme energy for me anyway. And so in its high vibration, it's very ambitious. It's very forward thinking. It is it's rebellious in a good way, meaning that it can pull you out of old patterns and make you persevere. It is it rules astrology. Uranus rules astrology, so it's very forward thinking type energy, out of the box thinking. But the negative part of Uranian energy is that it is unpredictable, drastic. It is explosive, combustive energy. So know that. So know that if your core, your sun, your inner being is not in a healthy state, you are going to be combustive. You know, you are going to be unpredictable. You are going to be volatile, very self-oriented and very volatile. You're going to want to make people feel as bad as you do in your core. So you could be very toxic for people if you are in a bad place. If you are in a good place, you are very forward thinking, you're very motivating, you're very altruistic. You know, you're out there and you're ready to just take on the world, and you're ready to lead by example. That could be very possible in this day. You know, I could give you a day full, I could tell you today is just going to be a shitty day, and we're going to suffer tremendous days, or I can try to find a way to look at both sides of energy, and I can give you the best scenario of that energy, and it's uplifting and motivating instead of pulling you down and making you succumb to negative energies for no reason, okay? So that's the kind of energy that your Leo sun could be in today, and that's all on you guys. That has nothing to do with your astrologer. Your astrologer can just predict how energy is the flavor of the energy, and I can just tell you how you choose an energy source. That is completely on your plate and not on your astrologer ever, guys. So just know that when we do readings, it's how you interpret and how the choices you make in your life and how the cascade events afterwards, you know, that is all on you. Today's Saturn in Scorpio is going to be squaring off with your Leo sun, your Venus in Leo, and your Jupiter in Leo. Reality check. I think it's okay. So it gives you a little bit of freedom. You remember that you're on the job site now, and you're the apprentice, and it wants to give you a little bit of freedom to see what you can do, and then it wants to pull you back a little bit in the morning before you go back out on your job. You know, on site, and it makes you want, and it says, hey, you know, I noticed that you did this yesterday, and I want to talk to you about it because I feel that you would be more effective in your day if you did this. And that's what Saturn is going to feel like to you. And look, you are full of yourself. You have a lot of energy in self-confidence and being able to be resilient and on your own and very independent energy. You're not going to like Saturn telling you when you are in this ego-based thought process that, hey, you know, you're not doing it right. You know, it's not going to feel good. So for some of you that are awakened, you're going to sit down here with Saturn. You're going to be like, okay, thank you so much, Saturn. You know, that's right. Maybe that wrench, if I was a plumber, would work a million times better than that last one. And maybe I did take too long on that site. Thank you very much for giving me that input so that I could be better at my job. Now, also we're still caught up in all this immutable energy, right? So I'm a little worried about the fact that there are things in our routine that we're still trying to overcome, our day-to-day routines, that we haven't quite got a hold of yet. So we are still, I think with all of this ego-based energy, I think that there are some of you, quite a few of you that I feel from this reading, that are still not accepting what's trying to be showed to them. And so you're going to, you're falling, essentially. Now, I want to say that might be expected, because I'm seeing energy that's speaking to me as far as, okay, so your moon in Cancer is home, and it's an emotional based moon. So we're talking about nurturing in this energy. When we're talking about the high vibration of energy, of Cancer energy, we're talking about it's a nurturer. It's stable. It's compassionate, loving. It's intuitive. And it's basically, it's like Mommy Dearest. Oh, I think Mommy Dearest was evil. Okay, Beaver Cleaver's mom on that old show, you know, just the 1950s mom that just you came home and you had cookies made. And that's the kind of yummy energy that Cancer can be. It's very safe energy. You know that you can count on them. They're the person that you can go to about anything, and they help you work through it. So you have that kind of energy that's very comforting. It's also probably an energy that emotionally you're going to try to seek refuge in something familiar. Definitely. But, and I think this is where we fall into the opposition, that familiar base thing, whatever it is going to oppose Pluto. So you're going to want to, now remember that Capricorn energy is where Cancer energy falls. And this is important to know. Energy has an equal and opposite energy. All energy does. Everything on your chart has an opposite energy to it. And it's very important to look at the strength in an energy and where you fall in an energy. So for this day, where you fall in this day is going to be, something is going to make you feel vulnerable in outside stimulus, okay, in others. So you're going to want to hide and do that thing that Cancers do, where their shell is their protective covering. But there's something that's going to happen today that makes you have to not, you can't be in your shell, right? It's going to be when you're out in the world and you're vulnerable and you're naked without your shell. And it's going to be something, it's going to have something to do with somebody else. It's going to make you vulnerable. And I think that that's when you're going to fall in. And I want to say that it has something to do with where you give away your power. And that's a personal struggle with everybody. It's definitely has to do with the coping method. What do you do once you lose that safe haven, that shell, that armor, that you're vulnerable? How do you act when you're vulnerable? Do you act like a self-indulgent little shit that's just out there causing all kinds of chaos and falling into poor coping methods because you're so vulnerable that you are like a little child stomping your feet, getting attention? Or are you a person that's healthy and an adult and says, okay, this is really unpleasant. I've got to take a look at how I deal with this, and this is probably something I need to really take a look at in myself. And then you journal it out and you bring it up in therapy. I mean, that's the adult way to approach this. I feel like that is going to be a problem today. And then I think if you're vulnerable and some of you are still caught in these cycles of like, I'm so wounded, I fall into poor coping methods, then what you guys are going to do is, I think you're going to want to escape again. You know, you're going to want to fall into past patterns, or you are going to fall in with the crowd that you're in. Really important that you guys understand who you hang around with is who you become. Very, 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 very important. Probably one of the biggest things that I've learned in all of these years of since 2012 till now. The environment that you surround yourself with is who you will become. And it's just a fact. No matter, you know what? If you don't do drugs, if you're around them enough and you're around people that do them enough, and you fall into a time in your life where it is, you know, it's overwhelming, they make doing drugs look so good that you may try drugs. It's your environment that is instilling that thought process on you. It's not who you authentically are. It's what you surround yourself by. So it's really important that you guys really, really understand this about yourselves. If you are trying to empower yourself, if you are trying to overcome, if you are trying to take Saturn's lessons and move to the next level in your life, then you better start thinking about where it is that, or who it is, or what job you're in that makes you fall into not ideal circumstances. Now, today is a lesson in when you're vulnerable, when you're outside of your Cancer shell, when you don't feel safe, what do you do to nurture yourselves? I don't know why today is speaking to me like this, but whatever it is, so let's talk about it. If you need to nurture yourself to get through something, there are two ways you can do it, mutable ways. So remember I told you, we're going to have some people that are going to have this empowering day. They are now able to work out and walk the stairs when instead of go get that candy bar out of the machine. Okay? There are some of those people that are doing that, working really hard, because we just went through the Venus in Virgo transit, where it was all about setting up healthy routines and learning about what we do to sabotage our own selves. And then we're now developing a new mindset. And now we're into Venus in Leo. When you have Venus in Leo energy, it's so different. It's all about empowering yourself and all about moving forward. And it's all about plugging yourself back in and the fire burning from within, and looking at past circumstances and saying, where do we lose that authenticness and becoming authentic again? So that's where we're at now. So for many of you, it's really positive what you're doing. You're setting up, for me, I want to ideally go on a sabbatical for this year. It's just been my life purpose. I really just want to be alone and not tied down to somebody for a year so that I can figure out me. And although I want what everybody else wants, companionship and pleasure and pleasure of the flesh, God knows, I'm not, I want that to be my routine. I want to know me before I give me away again. Because when I give myself away, sometimes I lose my power in giving myself away. I don't know how to maintain my power while I'm in a relationship. So if I empower myself for a year and I get really, really familiar with me and what empowers me, then when I'm in a relationship, I don't give away my power. And that's what I chose as a routine and a life purpose at this point in my life. That ends in October. But for many of you, I think you might not be as far along as that, because many of you hid from those circumstances. So I think these are coming up right now. And so for those people that aren't, look at me, I'm at the tail end of my exploration of myself. For some of you, you're not at the tail end, you're at the beginning. This is all showing you. And for those of you that it's showing you're trying to find that line of, how do I cope and feel fulfilled with these coping methods? Because I gotta tell you, I'd much rather go out and have delicious sex with somebody and lay in their arms all night than go home every night by myself and be alone and sleep with my dog. But every night I do it, it gets me closer to maintaining me in a relationship. So I do it time after time. And even though it can be very lonely, I'm not saying that developing new coping methods is easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It sucks. It's been painful. It's been hurtful. It's been very lonely. But I've also experienced peace, unlike I haven't ever had in many years. I I'm getting up every day no matter what, and I'm persevering. I have built amazing things from this time that I've had to myself. There is a payoff. It is not as good. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not as good as that immediate gratification. I'm honest with you. But it's good enough. And it's healthier. And for the most part, when I'm not trying to gratify myself, that part, it's a very balancing day, very balancing energy, and a very balanced life. I don't have extremes anymore. I have a very balanced world. And I wouldn't trade that for the extremes that I used to live in. I just wouldn't. I don't have an extreme high anymore, but I never have an extreme low anymore. I don't have it. And I would rather not have the high, because I'll never go through a low again. That's the way that I see it progress months and months and months and months and months and months later. So I want you to know that even though I'm talking about difficult things for some of you, don't worry. You get to my level eventually. Now, guys, I do want to say for the ones that aren't caught in this and are like me, who've been working on it for a really long time, opportunity is going to start to come in and start to enrich your life. And the things that you attract, love, money, opportunity, those people, you're going to just find things fall into your lap. You're going to experience a trine. It just falls into your lap. Whether or not you take it, that is completely up to you. But it's definitely an energy that could literally fall into your lap and just enrich your life in an amazing way. This week is very lush energy. And if you're caught in routine right now, so I'm caught in the routine of being alone, and an opportunity falls into my lap that either brings in a friend or brings in a potential lover or brings in a potential partnership, I need to take that opportunity. I need to actually accept that opportunity. And I may not want to. I may want to, again, stay in my coping methods for right now that keep me empowered. So I think all of us are going to be going through this. It's a very weird energy, but it's definitely about love, money, and opportunity. Definitely. Anyhow, guys, I can't wait to tell you about tomorrow, because it's going to have a big shift in energy. But it's a powerful shift in energy, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow about it.